So, witchcraft has been around forever. But what are the real stories behind it? And I'm not just talking about the things we already know. I'm talking about what goes on today and what has gone on in the near past. So, if you're ready to dive in with me, this is Screams for You, and I'm V. So, turn down those lights and lock those doors. Here's a scream you can't ignore. Alright, so the history, we'll touch a little bit on the history of the witches, and we'll start with one of the main accused. And her name was Alice Kai Teller. I don't know if that's how you say it or not. But anyways, it was all just outlandish like everything else. Stepson who thought she was responsible for dad's murder and got mad when she wins the money. He becomes kind of a bigwig and then accuses her of being a witch. So she eventually goes on the run with the daughter of another accused, and good for her, she was never found. Although there were a bunch of other people that got killed because of this. Because, you know, we can't withstand torture. Then, oh my goodness. Have you guys heard about that crazy ass book? Oh my god. So the book that says, like, witches go around and take men's members and keep them as pets, right? Like, I don't know what they were thinking back then. I was wondering, you know, how many men woke up without their junk. I mean, seriously, what was going on in that time is that so many guys didn't have anything and they're like, hey, that witch sold it. But this book was like on how to hunt witches and how to spot witches and all kinds of things like that. It's what really kicked off a lot of the witch hunts. So, and then we all know about the Salem witch trials and everybody accused. You know, we know now that almost all witches accused throughout history are innocent. And none of this was anything to even be such a big deal. Like, I don't even know. People were either like super bored back then, or, I mean, to think that it started as kind of like a revenge for this guy not getting his money, he really did a good job. I mean, he's still doing it today. A little bit of a more of a recent history, okay? Now, this is one where someone claimed to be a witch themselves. But, you know, it's not way back in the centuries. It's nowadays. I don't know why I said centuries. Okay. So in 1975, Nyberg and Davis claimed to be witches and stabbed 2 people. So that's pretty crazy. I think, I don't know, maybe they were trying to scare somebody or plead insanity, or maybe they really thought they were witches. I mean, it starts somewhere. The magic began back then with the fairy tale that there's witches out to do some crazy things, like I said, like in that book. Or, you know, we just let it build up in our imaginations as much as possible, I guess. I don't know. In 1984, the San Francisco witch killings, where this couple ends up killing, like, I think it was 3 or 4 people, because they thought those people were witches. But these guys were just like totally strung out on drugs all the time, and they didn't really have a clue what was going on in any reality, I don't think. Then we have, in 1997, Han kidnapped and killed a woman for an early birthday present for her boyfriend, and she claimed that this was for a sacrifice for them to do together for a great big birthday present, so that way he has a wonderful year. Not really for sure how that translates into witchcraft. They pretty much just think that she was just saying it to say it also, just to try to get out of things or make something seem less. It's not somebody who was like strung out on drugs all the time, so probably didn't really know any better, just like the other people. And we got, we're gonna talk about how many people do you think in America believe that there are witches in the world and people that practice witchcraft? And today's idea in America of witches is a little different, I think, than it was back then, since there's things like religions like Wicca now. But it's 21% of Americans. And witches today are still seen as against the magic and evil people that lay in bed with the devil and work for him. When way back in the day, before all these witch trials and stuff, witches, or people who were considered witches, were like mainly healers, it seemed like, where they just make concoctions to help people feel better and help them celebrate time and keep track of life. So this is what really, really super surprised me the most, okay? In 2019, to current, there are still witch hunts going on. So I don't know how that happens, but there is. Lots of people believe that there are still witches out there. And this happens in places like the Sub-Saharas, I don't know how to say that, Africa, India, and Papua New Guinea. And it's estimated about 20,000 women, don't forget, this is almost always women, have been accused and killed for being a witch. And that is nowadays. And I find that so crazy that with all this information that it still happens. It seems like, it should be a long past history. But it's not. And through my little journey into witchcraft, what did I learn about witches today? I learned that it seems to be like any other religion. People have a safe place to be themselves and learn what they want to learn. There is a lot of things on YouTube, like how to become a witch and how to start witchcraft. It's more accepted now, but I think it's still, a lot of people who accept these things, I think, still keep it on the down low. But that is the witchcraft through the years. Next, we will be talking about satanic panic. So, stay tuned.